Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to Upkicking Man, episode 503. I am Brandon. All right, UFC Fight Night, Delize versus Fernandes prelims. It's going to be Julius Walker versus Raffael Cerqueira. This is going to be all of the prelims. We're going to talk about all the fights, talk about some scoring, some fun stuff that happened. If you like this kind of thing, subscribe to the channel. That way, next video is coming out. I really appreciate it. Let's get into the recap. That way, you guys don't need to watch all of them yourself, or you can. They were pretty fun. I wouldn't go out of my way to watch these, but there's enough finishes on the card, enough excitement. It was, fun to watch some of them. All right, Julius Walker taking on Raffael Cerqueira. Pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. It's how they pronounce it, and I don't know how else you would throw in those vowels. Anyway, Walker with the lead hooks, Cerqueira with the 1-2 to fight himself off the fence. Walker's head is straight up on the exchanges. I was so worried. I was like, this dude's going to get knocked out. Cerqueira's going to catch him. But then in the clinch, it goes back and forth. Walker gets a takedown, getting to the back, and then he goes for the Kimuras, the front headlock sequence. Cerqueira gets up, and I was like, all right, let's see who's tired in the second round, because Walker was doing a lot of submission hunting without a lot of punishment. I don't know how tired Cerqueira would be. I didn't know how tired Walker would be. Looks for the striking numbers. Walker outstruck him 13-11, did more damage, had more control. I gave it to him 10-9. Second round, Walker kicks the legs out and immediately gets on top of him. Cerqueira gets up eventually, then eats a big left hand, huge. I think if Walker took a step back and made him stand up, he could have got the finish. Regardless, on top for 4 minutes and 41 seconds, outstriking him 13-1. This is clearly a 10-8 round. You got to give it a 10-8 round. There's no way you can't. 20-17. Last round here. Cerqueira hurt him with the right hand. Following up, Walker's panic wrestling for the takedown, and then Walker catches him with a right hand coming in, like a right hook, and puts him down, gets on top again. Cerqueira is just so tired. He keeps making mistakes on the feet and getting cracked for overswinging. Walker works his way to mount. You could go to Cerqueira in this last round. Both guys landed, though. Both guys hurt each other, and Walker was controlling him and dominated him on the ground. I had 30-26. What's his face? I don't know. The guy who sounds like he's constipated when he's announcing said 30-28. Yeah, he read that wrong. He meant to say 30-26 because there was a 10-8 round. Ben Cartledge gave that second round, but the rest of them all gave it 10-9, so it's 30-27. Okay. I mean, I don't know what you're waiting for. Guys, they're not posting scorecards. What is going on? It's so hard to find this stuff. All right. Probably the most exciting finish. This is probably the most exciting finish on the card. I don't know how it couldn't be. It's unfortunate it comes from a guy who literally just cheated 2 seconds before this, but whatever. Elijah Smith versus Toshiomi Kazama, or Kazama. I think it's Kazama. Smith going all crazy, landing a jumping knee to the body. Kazama getting to the mount and then the back, but falling off. And then Kazama's going for the heel hook, and Smith repeatedly grabbing the fence, right? He was grabbing the fence, being warned. Now, why this plays a role. Kazama was going for leg entanglements and trying to off-balance. When he was trying to off-balance, Smith grabbed the fence multiple times to stop from going to his hip. Kazama might not have been able to get the finish. We saw that he was on the leg. He had a good bite on a heel hook at one point, and Smith didn't tap. But this is unacceptable. You should take the position away. You should make them stand back up or do something, because you can't just have Smith sitting there. Anyway, Kazama ends up trying to go for a submission from the bottom. Smith lifts him up, slams him Rampage style, and gets a knockout and gets the finish. Very cool. Awesome finish. Can't take that away from him, but the fact that he cheated to get there really sucks. It sucks for Kazama to go out like that. I hope he's all right, because that kind of thing can end your career and really change the way things go, the way your brain works. All right, Joselyne Edwards versus Priscila Cachoeira. Let me bring up the stats, I guess. Nope. That is the wrong link. Edwards made weight at bantamweight, so that's good. All right, good for her, making weight the first time. Cachoeira is just stiff and walking forward. Edwards is cracking her with low kicks, stiff jabs, right hands, and Cachoeira is landing, but she's literally just hands down, face out, waiting to be caught and knocked out. She's wanting to load up and land, but if she keeps doing this, she's going to get cracked. And, of course, Edwards has been landing that left hook over and over. She lands another one and then follows up with the right hand and puts her ass down. Edwards can hit hard. She's had some bullshit split decisions given to her. She's had some, she's missed weight and she's cheated. Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff that she's done. It's hard to root for her, but this is a good this is a good path. She's on a good path. Hopefully she gets her shit together and, continues this streak, and we can start rooting for her. Uros versus Gilbert Urbina. We're not going to pull up stats for this one. Big right hand off the 1-2. Gilbert Urbina drops him right away. Immediately. And then Urbina does not fall up. I don't know why. Maybe he stood up, let him stand up. Okay, it's not the worst strategy. All right, I'm not going to criticize him for that. But then start getting in exchanges. And Medic lands a flush jab, shakes him, and then Urbina keeps his head up, eats another one, and then Urbina goes down. It's unreal. I bet you Urbina's going to get cut. Him and his brother just didn't have what it takes to, cut it at the UFC level. Not that they're not good fighters. They are. It's just the UFC's unforgiving. Gabriella Fernandes versus Julius Stoliarenko. Again, I'm not going to pull up. I guess I could pull up stats for you guys. Looking at the striking numbers here. 19-19, 23-18, and then 24-17. Not a whole lot going on. Very slow pace. It didn't really hit each other for the first 2 minutes of the fight. Fernandes landing probably less shots but more power in this first round, but apparently they landed the same. She landed more power. Stoliarenko kept pressing forward, putting the jab out there. This second round, Fernandes outstruck her, did more damage. And the last round, Stoliarenko finally did more stuff, but, she landed more, but Fernandes is still probably landing more damage. And, I had 30-27. Looking at the scorecards here, Camillo had it 30-27. Saw the amount on Eric Cologne gave that last round of Stoliarenko. I just felt like that's not bad. You can give it that way. I didn't see it. It was just a bad fight to watch. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Moving on. Cody Brundage taking on Eric McConico. Okay, this was the first fight of the night. And I think this is the one that had the scorecards all over the place. And I think it's important to talk about this one. Okay, so huge left hand from McConico and Brundage forced to wrestle almost immediately, right? McConico is able to stay upright, force Brundage back to the center. Brundage with the double leg all the way across the cage, getting him down, some control time. He just couldn't do anything with the control time. McConico was able to lead. He had Brundage waiting to counter or take down. It was just McConico was taking the lead in the striking, and Brundage was kind of just sitting around waiting. He wasn't throwing enough out there. Brundage starts to lead, and then he started to find success. He was landing some knees in the clinch, some big right hands, staggering McConico a bit. And here's the thing: by the time the end of the round came up, he had landed more strikes and done more damage, 8-3, in favor of Cody Brundage. I gave him this round 10-9. Second round, McConico coming out and pressing him to the cage, landing a really nice elbow in the clinch. But then some chaos along the cage, and McConico is trying to land, but Brundage just finding the mark, and he hurts McConico a bit, then gets the takedown, right? Brundage doesn't do anything with the control, so unless it's just a cardio thing, I think he's missing out, right? It seemed like his strategy was to get him down there, but I don't know if he had anything past that was playing out properly. Like maybe his thing was to advance and get a submission or get to a better position before he started striking. It just didn't feel like he was getting to anywhere he wanted to be because he just kept either losing position or not doing anything with it. Closer round, but I still lean towards Brundage. I had it 11-7. He outstruck him 11-7, out-controlled him. That's actually pretty clear. He should win the round. Last round, McConico is winning it with pressure early in all of the rounds, but specifically in this last round. The ref separates them when McConico stays, because they're doing nothing on the fence. When McConico stays clean, he looks great, but when he opens up, Brundage finds some room in the chaos. McConico does really well when he leads with the striking and clean striking and not waiting, right? When he's waiting and Brundage is able to move forward, it really just came down to who was moving forward and who led the dance. Neither one of these guys was winning when they were countering. And McConico especially was losing when they got into the chaos. Brundage definitely won those. Anyway, I wrote down 30-27 for the losing fighter. Ha, ha, ha. Okay. It's not funny. It's more, you got to laugh because it's so bad. Okay. All right. Let's talk about this, shall we? Chris Lee gave that last round to Brundage. I don't think so, dude. I don't think so. Okay. First 2 rounds to Brundage, no problem. But that last round, absolutely not. That's a bad scorecard. Okay, Tony Weeks gives the first round to Brundage. Fine. Second round to McConico. It was relatively close. Okay, maybe we could buy that. Okay, maybe. Right? Okay. And then the last round to McConico. Okay, fine. Tony Weeks has a decent scorecard here, with the second round being the only one that I disagree with, but you could argue for it. Ben Cartlidge, on the other hand, has the fucking worst scorecard. The worst. The only round that is in any way defensible is the second round, which he gave to McConico, right? He gave the last round to Brundage, which, again, I think that's just wrong. You can't give him that one. And worse than that, he gave the first round to McConico. The guy who landed 3 strikes and did nothing in that first round after the first half of that first round. How the shit, like, do you think, okay. Let's look at the stats, okay? And I understand that McConico hurt him early in the first round, sure. But then later in that round, Brundage hurt him back. He outstruck him, out-controlled him, 2 minutes and 30 seconds of control time, out-damaged him. And then as far as like the instantaneous damage, so for those of you guys who don't know, this is the last fight, by the way, so we're going to wrap it up after this, but for those of you guys who don't know, all damage is not created equal, meaning that just because you land the same amount of accumulated damage over a round, it doesn't outdo instantaneous damage, because one of those things is more likely to finish the fight, right? So if I land 5 jabs on you and you land 1 big right hand on me, let's say they have and they equate to the same amount of overall damage. Yours is worth more because it was instantaneous. Instantaneous damage is always worth more than cumulative. So, for those of you guys out there who do understand that, or like, well, McConico hurt him. Brundage hurt him too. That's the thing. It's like the instantaneous damage was a wash. The overall damage was Brundage. The control time was Brundage. Where are you giving this to McConico? This is that is the worst scorecard. The worst. The only way he could have made that worse, he got away with the second round being relatively close. So, like I said, I don't agree with it, but you can argue for McConico getting that second round. My point is, if you look at his scorecard, it's indefensible. Like the first and the third round, and then McConico clearly won the third round, right? So him and Chris Lee, it's just shit. It's so disappointing that guys lose their money because of this crap. They lose half their pay because people are incompetent. It's so frustrating. Anyway, I appreciate y'all for stopping by. Subscribe to the channel if you like this kind of thing. That way the next video is coming out. I really appreciate it. I got to go fix my roof. Some of the flashing came off yesterday, so time to get to work. You guys have an amazing week. Love y'all. Peace.